Hey, what is up, everybody? So I want to take a look at a couple quotes from Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur yesterday and look at this Packers game against the Vikings and give some of my thoughts about this Packers offense and looking ahead to the game against Thursday against the Lions. This isn't a full preview, just some initial thoughts here on Monday after this game. But this is a Packers team that has been carried by their defense a majority of the season. And in the three different losses, the reason the Packers lost those games was because of the offensive performance. The defense has really done their part for the most part in nearly every single game this season, and they did it once again here against the Minnesota Vikings. And first off, the quote from Jordan Love, this is an article via Bill Huber, shares this quote from Love. "The defense is balling like that, coming up with stop after stop," quarterback Jordan Love said. "That mindset is just keep taking care of the ball, don't make mistakes, and just keep hammering away at it. Keep putting together some good drives," and we did that. And so against a Vikings team, when you have that offense playing as bad as they did, when you have J.J. McCarthy greatly struggling when he's been out there for the Vikings this season, you are able to play a different type of game than you're going to play against an offense that is more dangerous, able to put up more points. And so you see here that clearly once the Packers got up, the mindset seemed to shift to just not making mistakes, just sort of play it safe. And against a Vikings team, as we played yesterday, that's a strategy that makes 100% sense here. And then we have from LaFleur, also via the Bill Huber article, quote from LaFleur, "Once we got a lead, our pass rush, this is the first time in a while where I thought our guys could pin their ears back and just go," LaFleur said. And so it just goes to show you the importance of getting a lead where you put them into some situations where they feel like they have to throw the football. And looking at this game, it was honestly, pretty close going into the second half, 10-6, and you have that first drive, the Packers score a touchdown offensively, and that hadn't been something that has happened very consistently for this Packers offense this year, so that was good to see. But then the rest of the first half, they get a field goal, the Packers, and it just wasn't quite as promising as the very first drive. And you go into the half 10-6, and you're thinking to yourself, it feels like we should be up, a lot more on this Vikings team. Just only 4 points up. The Packers didn't start off the second half, and they punt the ball. Now, if that punt had not been fumbled and the Packers had not gotten the ball right there and had an easy, touchdown there, only a few yards needed to gain, that could have been a much different, start to the second half because you're already, up 10-6. At least you're up. But against this team, it's like, wish it was more. And then you have a punt on the first drive going into the second half. Like that's not a great scenario. Now in the end, it doesn't matter because you get that punt fumble, and because the Vikings offense can't do anything whatsoever. It's so bad. It didn't really matter in this game. But if we look ahead to the Lions, this is going to be a matchup where, this conservative approach is not going to work. And I don't expect the Packers to come in and try to play the same game here. Clearly, the Packers, Matt LaFleur, Jordan Love understood that because the defense was playing such great football, they just sort of went into, okay, let's play it safe. Let's not make any mistakes. If we do that, we'll be able to win this game. But against a Lions team that is currently second in scoring in the NFL, this is going to be a game where you're going to have to be aggressive. And I do think there's been a lot of moments where Matt LaFleur has run the ball too much, in my opinion, just because when you have your offensive line not run blocking overall great this season, and let's say your passing attack has been, much more dominant, much more consistent, there are times where I do think the Packers have relied way too much on the run and not really given Jordan Love the ability to just really take over games and be really aggressive to get up on teams, because it feels like anytime the Packers get up to some kind of lead, the Packers do go into a conservative style approach. And on the one hand, I get trying to run the ball more and trying to, let the clock go down as you have a lead. But I just don't think that that's going to be the strategy that allows this Packers team to be a dangerous team come playoff time. Now, with the Packers defense, the way they're playing, I get that type of approach. But, LaFleur says here in this quote that this is the first time in a while where I thought our guys could just pin their ears back and go because of that lead. And so if the Packers want to be able to do that, you want to be able to unleash Micah Parsons, to his fullest ability when opposing offenses have to pass the football. I think it gives you that much more of a reason to be much more aggressive offensively. Give Jordan Love that much more of an opportunity to air it out, make defenses pay, get up to a 2-score lead, because when you do that, it allows your defense to really excel at the highest level because Micah Parsons, I mean, he's incredibly dominant. And when you have to pass the ball, it makes the Packers defense that much more dangerous. And so I just think that, going forward, if the Packers want to be at their best, they need to run the ball less. I still think that, I mean, clearly you can't just completely abandon the run, but the Packers need to abandon this conservative approach because, I mean, Jordan Love, we've seen what he can do. We've seen the type of quarterback he's been, and I think in certain scenarios, like against the Vikings, it makes sense to sort of play the more cautious approach. But at the same time, I mean, you could have just kept, pushing it and trying to, put up more points instead of just running the ball time and time again. I get the strategy, and it was fine yesterday, but it's not going to, work against some of these other high-powered offenses. And I assume Matt LaFleur knows that. I know that he probably assumes that you can't do the same thing you did against the Vikings because the Lions' offense is that much better. But let me know your comments in the comment section down below. And if you want more Packers content, feel free to subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys next time.